I mean, some might consider me like a raging conservative, but I worked for Obama during the first Obama administration. Like first or second, I forget, 2015. And I worked for FBI at the DOJ. And I worked on NICS, the National Instant Check System, the NICS 2.0 that Obama wanted to revamp. And he was going to do all this stuff with the ATF. And I was terrified of what was going to happen. So I'm like, I need to be the adult in the room here. Right? And then when I got there and went through the DOJ and went through the orgs and saw what was happening, it's like, there are no adults here. You people really have your motivations and your way of working. And I mean, say what you want about Silicon Valley, but it builds really good orgs for getting shit done, right? And like to go back like 30 years in time to see how government works and the waste and the inefficiency and the wrong incentives across the board was really a wake-up call. And you can, I don't feel I completely understand the liberal gun owner.
Nor do I. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Season 2 of the Liberal Gun Owners Lens podcast. I am Mianovich, and I will be your pilot on an unprecedented ride through the most innovative and forward-thinking analysis of the relationship between humans and guns on planet Earth. The entire nexus between guns and public safety needs a wake-up call, and Liberal Gun Owners is here to rock that party. Are you somebody who thinks you know what's going on with guns and public safety? I don't give a shit. I'm dragging your ass into the future whether you like it or not. Yeah, and I think the other thing you asked about, like, how do we do this? Like, how do we go about this? That question is one of the reasons why we do what I call simultaneous proponency, which is we have an equal concern for both gun rights and mitigating gun-related negatives. And I'm not into that, and the company's not into the mitigating the negatives because it looks good. We're doing that because I want those things to stop as much as you can. And so do so many other people, so many gun owners, so many liberal gun owners. If you look at over 10 years on Facebook, what are the two things that our community represents? Gun rights and enjoyment and hobby and that stuff. And we got to stop these negatives. Me making that the mission wasn't something I created. That's just a normal human thing. So I think that these people that are in the closet, or they don't want to step in the light or whatever, they need to understand that it's not just about LGO, it's about other groups too. I mean, you have a version of what you're doing. LGC has a version. Walk the Talk has a version. David Yamani has a version. But we are legitimately trying to make the gun situation, the gun public safety nexus better, right? There is an opportunity to make history legit, to change the paradigm, and everybody believes we can't, and that's bullshit. That's why it hasn't happened. So we can change the paradigm to a new paradigm that reacts more to the type of thinking, 21st century sensibility like you and I, other people. And then that sensibility is also in the business of mitigating the negatives. Both of those things together, they have to go together. And that's how you get people, because you get into their heart and go, holy shit. Like Randy is involved with not just the country's leading behavioral threat assessment professionals that stop school shootings regularly and targeted acts regularly. Over 20 years, they've been doing it. Randy's not just with these guys. He's friends with these guys. And they're not just nation-leading experts. They're fucking world-leading experts. And Randy and LGO is in bed with these cats. And he's helping the threat assessment education in this country. And holy shit. Like, that's how you get people to wake up. in my opinion, is gun owners are getting really good, not just at the rights, but stopping the negatives or mitigating the negatives too. And it's hard. but that's my opinion on why it's so important. That's how you get people to wake up, is maybe your specialization is to concentrate on the rights part, which I'm never going to be able to give 100% to the rights part because I'm splitting it down the middle. That's good that there are people like Open Source Defense doing it. But you also know that I'm heavily involved in mitigating the negatives, and all of them. All of the categories we're getting involved in that, and that's how you reach people, But I think I'm going to let you talk because I know I've been going on. This is your episode, not mine. Damn it, Chuck. But people need to simply understand that using laws to change human behavior is a tricky thing. It can only happen a little bit. It's context dependent. But we have a country that believes you can just throw laws at these problems, and it's just not true. So we need to educate people on that, show that we can have impact in the mitigation space, and be down with the rights. And if we stick with that and have a 21st century attitude, I do think it's in the cards.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it's I agree. And what you're proposing is kind of at a base level, it's something that's attractive, right? And the thing that I also think is really heavy in our favor is that the things we propose, the solutions, and even the fun part of it, or the ownership, or the growth that you have with gun ownership and things of kind of recognizing the reasons and thinking about these things, they are so much more attractive than the negatives and the anti-gun side, which is all around just bad things are going to happen, and murder and ugliness and negativity, and we need more laws and more restrictions and more heaviness in your life. Right. So yeah, I agree with you. You propose a very compelling but complex kind of solution there. And you start pulling in, like I listened to the bunch of parts of the podcast you had with the dude for the behavioral science and school shootings and stuff.
Yeah, John Ventriel.
Yeah, and it was like the first pretty so much more intelligent than things I had seen in the kind of mainstream world, right? I was looking for okay, what's the solution here? Our solution for that stuff has always been the very obvious one about media coverage, right? And we, you're probably familiar with the Austrian subway suicides when that happened, and media played it up and made it worse. And then when they clamped down on media even mentioning the subway suicides, they dropped to zero. Same thing for the Golden Gate Bridge, right? There is no report of the Golden Gate Bridge suicides, but when they do report them, they spike like crazy, and you're not allowed to, nobody reports on them anymore, even though they happen. So yeah, I would love to explore this more with you, Randy. I think there's an opportunity for getting, and this is what I've had trouble with, is getting more people kind of being aware of the people I should be in contact with, right? OSD should be in contact with, and helping to build those Venn diagrams of different orgs. Now, we're not going to align on everything, clearly, you and I personally or organizationally, but there are that Venn diagram of overlap is very strong, just given on what you've discussed here today, right?
Yeah. And it's just and getting over that quickly of we don't agree. Okay, so what next? Right. It should be that easy.
So we have a core mission on that we do agree on. So let's get moving on that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't there's nobody out. The adults aren't going to come in and fly in here and be like, okay, we got this now. We're the adults.
Oh, I've never been more clear of that than in this day and age. And what really drove it home, I worked for. Some might consider me like a raging conservative, but I worked for Obama during the first Obama administration. First or second, I forget, 2015. And I worked for FBI at the DOJ. Mm-hmm. And I worked on NICS, the National Instant Check System, the NICS 2.0 that Obama wanted to revamp. And he was going to do all this stuff with the ATF. And I was terrified of what was going to happen. So I'm like, I need to be the adult in the room here. Yeah. Right. And then when I got there and went through the DOJ and went through the orgs and saw what was happening, it's like, there are no adults here. It's like, you people really have your motivations and your way of working I mean, say what you want about Silicon Valley, but it builds really good orgs for getting shit done, right? And like to go back like 30 years in time to see how government works and the waste and the inefficiency and just the wrong incentives across the board was really a wake-up call. I would really suggest people go ahead and there's various organizations. I did it with USDS, the United States Digital Service. There's other organizations where you as a professional can go quote unquote volunteer. It's like a Peace Corps for nerds where you can go and do some government work for X amount of time, take a sabbatical or do between jobs, whatever you want, and go in there and go suck it up and go work as a GS9 in like some back office in Maryland for Social Security or DOJ or immigration and see why things are the way they are and go fix them. Like, you know, you're not going to like this, but, you know, if and when Trump gets back in office, I fully intend, like, I got to get in there. It's like, there's no way this retard can go in there and, you know, I'm not letting that happen. I will work for that administration because I need to get inside. I need to go unfuck what needs to be fixed. And I don't care. I have no love for anybody in politics. So it doesn't matter to me who it's going to be. I got to get in there and help fix things.
Yeah, I don't have a problem. You said you're not going to like this. I don't care. If that happens, why would I apply the whole we've got to turn into the wave concept, but you're not allowed to do that with that situation? Like, it seems like a nightmare. Yeah. but you'd be willing to do it. Sounds fine. Yeah. Because that's what's required. Yeah, exactly. And it's and I didn't have that opinion. I'm like, I can't be bothered with politics. I would never get involved until I did that little stint. And then it opened my eyes to like, we need good people there. And I'm not saying that every government employee is like, but they're just not set up for success. Even the good ones. I worked with some good people at Nix and they like knew technology and they knew they wanted to do this new like lamp stack stuff and you know, like use like current technology instead of like DB2 stuff on IBM 3270s or just this horrific thing, right? And I had to keep myself from like, dude, I could just pull you out of here and put you into Facebook tomorrow. I'll get you an interview. You're good. There's no reason you have to be slogging along here for your $60K a year or whatever it is under this bureaucracy. But this is a horrible thing. I didn't do it because I didn't want to upend this guy's life. It might not have been the best thing for him. But like those people exist. You need to empower them because you go in there fearless. Like I went in there like I could get fired tomorrow. They could throw me out. I'll be in a better position, right? It would be doing me a favor. That's like a superpower. If you can go into any meeting with any bigwig, bureaucratic, whatever, and like don't give a shit if this guy likes you or not, your career has nothing to do with this schmo. You can do great things, right? You can advocate for great things. You can push things that would not normally happen unless you're there driving it and running cover for all the people who can't speak their mind or do it. The type of people that will go to the grindstone are rare. That's part of the issue is that, look, at the end of the day, that's why we have a society that runs on low information rationality. In order to be a highly informed, rational person, you have to put effort in. And some people just can't. They don't have the time. But at the end of the day, people just want to go home, man. Right. You know what I mean? And we're always going to have that. They don't want the hassle. That's why everybody has a tendency to do these single agent explanations for complex phenomena constantly. It's no secret why society fucks up. It's no secret why we don't meet our goals, why we have so many problems. It's not a secret. It's that we have a tendency to want to relate to information in the simplest way possible, but we're a highly complex Homo sapien inside of a highly complex phenomenon. You can't fucking do that and not pay prices. You're going to pay prices, and we do. So it's not a secret, but how do we get 10 Chuck Rossis who are willing to dive in? How do you get 20?
No, they're out there. Yeah, it's just like you said, like your whole riff on just getting the right people together and getting the just let them know that like, hey, we can do this together. You know, you don't have to go alone at this, right?
Yeah, I'll tell you what I sent our financial helper people, angel people, for the first 5 years. I'll just tell everybody what I said. Do you want it all to change? Like, I don't know about these other organizations, but I do believe in myself and as low ego as I can be, because I just am persistent and I can't stand bullshit and I just want it to be over. So here's what I say. If you want me, and this is maybe an attitude you guys can think about, and think about it for yourselves at OSD, but if you want me to change guns forever, I know who I need for my team. I need $10 million and I need 10 years. That's what I need. If you want that. Now, do you thoroughly want it to change? Do you want it to just crack and change and change? Cool. $10 million in 10 years. If you really want it to change, I need $30 million and I need 10 years, 12 years. I need $30 million. Do you want me to, in an arm wrestling match, if I were arm wrestling the gun status quo, do you want me not to just pin the person's arm, but rip the fucking arm off the shoulder? Do you want that? No problem. $50 million, 10, 15 years. And I don't care if it's me or Chuck or Liberal Gun Club. I don't care who it is that does it. But if America wants it to change, that's all it takes. It's not a lot it's $50 million and 10 years, and the people who know what's up will rip the fucking arm off of the gun status quo. That's because, and I believe that because of the people that I've met that are some of these people who can't step out. The kind of brains that we have access to are world-changing, world-beating people. And they could fuck this thing up in a good way. You know, we used to say in the 80s,
Yep.
like, fuck it up.
Yeah.
We could fuck this shit up so thoroughly, and it would be done. 10 and 12 years, $50 million. If you think about how much money is in Silicon Valley, that's like nothing.
It's really nothing. It's surprising you said that. We can talk offline about how you came to those numbers, but like that's for a Bloomberg org. That's like, that's a running budget. That's nothing.
I literally think it would be that. But again, well managed, proper scope of management, small team, special force, right brains, correct brains, right and left hemisphere, but correct brains,
Correct, yeah.
Good relationships, because the destruction will come from the inside. The right people, 10 years, $50 million, you rip the fucking arm off. Like that's in 10 years of my brain being the computer that's taking in the data from observation, all of my anecdotal stuff. I'll say this, if the gun control people knew how fucking not special the gun establishment is and the people and their structures and how weak it is,
Yep.
they would crush it.
Yep.
But these people are not fucking world beaters.
No, they're not. You're right. They're not the best and the brightest. That's really interesting. You just kind of made me think for a second. And again, we're both been around long enough to probably have seen this arc. What you described is all through the 80s and 90s, kind of the winning side of the gun rights were running on these kinds of budgets, for better, for worse, with the old style, the old guard pro-gun groups. And you're right. It wasn't until late in the 90s, 2000s, whenever Bloomberg spun up and started doing all the satellite Bloomberg stuff. I sat in a room at FBI headquarters in West Virginia with representatives from Bloomberg's org, like the Mayors Against or one of the other, anti-gun groups that he funds. And they were all young, 20-something kids talking to ATF and DOJ brass. Actually, this was not ATF. It was specifically DOJ and CJIS brass and, lieutenants in a room about what, getting information from them about how Bloomberg, the lawyers that were there from Bloomberg, how they were going to organize themselves to work with DOJ and get their stuff kind of in place, right? It was really eye-opening how young and hungry he had gotten these lawyers to come in and start doing this. And yeah, they were able to pivot that with a workforce that was able to organize, was well funded, had shit to work with because their media, their arguing points, all that stuff is crap, but they made it work just because of force of will and money.
Yeah.
Right? We are in such a better position as far as like actual data, arguments, and people that yeah, it would take nothing to kind of get back on the winning side of that equation. That's really interesting. That's very good food for thought there.
The reason why I'm saying it, I'm okay with saying it online, should be also indicative because they're not even listening. And even if they heard me say it, they would be like, this dude's out of his fucking mind, which is great. I want people to think I'm crazy and don't know what I'm talking about. Like, I want that cover, right? Because I do think this would be a thing. Like, it wouldn't be something you saw coming. It wouldn't be like we're going to advertise yo ho ho all along the way.
No.
It would be like Osama bin Laden's in a dark room and the lights come on and he's fucking surrounded. It would be like that.
Exactly.
Like, it would be like, how did they fucking do this? We did it. So fucking sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. See ya.
Yeah.
It would kind of be like that. It's the new standard. I see it, man. It's right in front of us. It's right in front of us. But there are so many, and I do think if people got a sense of it, you would have more of these like spy dudes who have whatever resource so they can help us, but they can't because they're wife, but they'll do it anyway. Like, we would have a lot more of those cats helping. We would have a lot more people helping out in front. But I think the biggest challenge for liberals is the worship of collectivism. They want it to come. They want liberal gun owners to be about validation of them.
Interesting.
They want this new gun ownership thing to be about their validation instead of fucking taking the hammer to the establishment for real. And people are going to have to get over it. I don't think it's going to happen. The grassroots are important, but I don't think it's going to be the mega force. The mega force would be like the thing that liberals wouldn't like, which is authority and discipline coming from a team of leadership, which is kind of what the mentality is against. But anyway, yeah, I mean, dude, anytime we can talk on the phone, anytime about any of these, my wild ideas, I'm going for it. I'm just going for it.
No, I'd love to also, I think we know a lot of the same people. I'd love to cross-reference who's in your mind, offline about where you think this nexus of great minds comes together. We can also talk about the deep pockets that we kind of know, and you can, I don't feel I completely understand the liberal gun owner as well as I should, and
nor do I.
Always happy to kind of. I mean, I'm getting a great education in the one-on-ones that I have with people, with the Zooms, and it's fascinating. I've definitely kind of developed a picture of what the important things are that they're thinking about and why they got to where they are. But you obviously have a much deeper understanding of kind of why things are the way they are. So another good conversation to have sometime.
Yeah, I don't want to hold you here too long. We've been doing 90 minutes. Do you have anything else that you want to say about open source defense or
Sure.
what's going on with Chuck Rossi, that kind of stuff?
So I would just wrap up by saying I'm still involved in the social media scene. So if you, LGO, anybody in our circles, any companies have issues with social media, specifically Instagram and Facebook, please do reach out. I'm Chuck at opensourcedefense.org. Or you can, our Twitter is at OpenSRCDefense, as is our Instagram. Reach out on those platforms, or email might be best. And I can still give you guidance or help directly getting accounts back or problems solved, mainly if it's related to what we call safety regulated goods, which are firearms and things. So please do use me as a resource, your listeners or anyone that's having trouble with those items on the socials. And I will say our Twitter is our most active platform. outside of our Substack that comes out every week. I would stress people should sign up for the weekly Substack at opensourcedefense.org, and the Twitter at OpenSRC Defense. We have a lot of, we don't have huge numbers, but the people that we have that follow us and subscribe to us and interact with us are some of the very best people.
Yeah, dude, I am on team fucking quality over quantity.
Yeah.
If you heard any vibe coming out of the bitching 3 episodes that you listened to with me and Jimmy and Adam, like that taught me it's got to be quality over quantity. I'll worry about quantity later.
Exactly.
To close up, I don't want to fucking give away your stuff here, but you did move to a new state.
I did. I moved to Florida. Yeah.
Okay. So you did mention that you weren't allowed to have NFA items previously, and you might be, because you live in a new state, interested in that. I'm not trying to sell you anything, but would you be interested in an Uzi, an M60? Like, what direction is Chuck going to go here?
So I am kind of unlimited in desire and and so but I have to stack rank things, right? So it's like kid in the candy store. You can't just grab the first thing you see. You're gonna punk out before you get too far.
Yeah.
So I hate to be kind of cliche or whatever, but I do need a 4-position MP5. So that is the first. It's a 3 stamp gun, right?
Yeah.
So suppressed SBR, 4-position. That's got to be the first one.
That's a great choice. So, God, I have such a boner for the MP5. I mean,
I've shot them and I didn't quite get it until I started shooting them, both semi and full. And then I've shot zillions of guns, and once you're an aficionado, you get it.
Yeah. There's something about the ergos on it, and
I don't know what it is. Just rattling shit off at 3-round burst is just like, okay, this is perfection.
I will have to hit you up then on your experience there, because maybe if the stars aligned and the gods drop gold out of the sky for me, that might be the same direction I would go, and so I might have to talk to you about.
Sure.
About that.
Yeah, I've kind of started my journey. It's a seedy underbelly, and it's just scuzzy, but I'm gonna power through because I gotta scratch that itch. So
yeah, I hear you. We need that knowledge for the Jedi data bank. We need to know. We need to know. We need to be masters of that information. So please do it. Buy it. Take the notes. It's for a good cause.
Absolutely.